So with Ruthie this morning, oh, good listen. We'll be practicing both leash pressure, so that way she doesn't pull on the lead, as well as some tonal recall or a vibration recall. That way, in case she is out without a leash on, maybe on a beach or hiking, she'll be able to more consistently respond. We're actually working on both of these with her at the same time, just because we needed to add a little bit more emphasis on when that leash pressure changes. Goes from kind of nice loose leash to a tight leash, just because she got a little bit used to pulling again on the leash. So really trying to help her to recognize when that pressure happens and to get her to respond by redirecting back to us. Good girl. By redirecting back to us. So here, before, what we've been doing is trying to keep up with her, and then as soon as the leash gets tight, because either I can't or I stop, she feels it and then checks back in. Good girl, very good. Right here, good. You can do that for a treat, just to kind of get her hopefully conditioned in again. Okay, and the key here is making sure she doesn't just continuously pull through that leash pressure, right? So just going along with her. Now when I do want her to stop, I'll add in a little bit more back leash pressure. Good girl. So just drawing emphasis on it. Okay, and then rewarding, letting her go back out. Good girl. And so right now we just have it on tone. And what we do now is we add in that ring when that pressure is applied to pull her back. Yes, good girl. To get her conditioned to respond that way. We do that a few times. Good girl. We do that a few times until we can drop off the leash pressure, so we know if she's just responding off the tone or not. So once again, I'll pull back and I'll beep. Good girl. Okay. Good. Okay. And then we'll let her go and walk around again. Probably do that a couple more times, and then we'll try with just the tonal. This is a little bit more of a recap, because I didn't get a chance to record for her yesterday with the new pup coming in. But she did really good, so we'll see. This will be a good opportunity to see how much of the training is already sticking. She's already also doing a great job with maintaining that focus too. Good girl. So now, which is good. It makes the pulling part of the training a lot harder to practice when she's not pulling and getting distracted as much. So next time she isn't paying attention to me, I'm going to go ahead and abruptly stop and backtrack and press the tone button at the same time here. Oh, good girl. I couldn't even get any leash pressure on there before she responded. So it's going to be difficult, because in that situation, you can't tell really if she's responding off of her just kind of focusing and following me, or if she's responding off of the tone. So now when she's a little bit ahead, not paying attention, I'll just get to hit the tone. Yes, good girl. Perfect, good girl. Very good. And that there is how you know that she's definitely responding and coming back on the tone, because there's no leash pressure. She was definitely not paying close attention to me. I didn't really move. So now when she's going back to getting a little excited and pulling, we're just going to use traditional leash pressure. Good girl. We're going to let her go again for a little bit. Okay. I like to do these exercises usually in a fenced-in dog park. If you go during morning times, it's usually pretty quiet. We're just practicing around the neighborhood now just because it's also really quiet during the mornings. And then also in the court, just because I can clearly see when a car is going to be coming or going the other way. So that really helps as well. Good girl. I'm going to go ahead and completely eliminate the leash pressure for now, because we've been practicing a lot on that before, and now we're just going to do the tonal training. So there's going to be no leash pressure, and she's just going to be following me around with her focus, which is awesome. I'm going to go ahead and reward that too. Good girl. Yeah. And it's important when we're rewarding her that she's paying attention to us, not just the treat in our hand. Good girl. Now. Yes, good girl. Very good. Up here. Good girl. Okay. Walking around again. Gonna do a sharp U-turn as well as pressing the tone on it. Good girl. Yeah, she's doing really good. Okay. Just kind of walk around. Another reason why I practice this with a GPS collar, for example, is if for whatever reason maybe somebody else is out walking their dog, or we come across a rabbit, which happens fairly often, she does go running off. It'd be pretty easy to follow her afterwards and chase her down. Always a good idea to make sure before that she's already doing really good with her recall, and that they don't have a super high prey drive as well to go against. In those cases, you could always also use like a 20 or 30 foot lead. Good girl. Didn't even hit the button that time. She just noticed I wasn't following her. Oh, good girl. But you could always use a 20 to 30 foot lead during practice just to be on the extra safe side. I'd always recommend that at first for clients going back home with their pups, just to be on the safer side, and at least practicing long off-leash practice for anywhere from like 2 to 3 months, I find, to the point where you're consistently not having to rely on the leash, and you have those times when maybe a squirrel or something comes up and you're able to still recall them back easily. Same thing with maintaining focus when there's another person or another dog. And 2 or 3 months is usually a good length of time to get a lot of good practice in, and to have all those events kind of pop up to make sure that you're going to be able to work through them okay. Not really getting to do much practice with the Ruthie right now because she's paying so good attention to me. Yes, good girl. Good girl. I'm gonna go ahead and let her drift. Oh, no, she did good. Good girl. So I'm always still at least giving her that positive affirmation, and especially when she's been following me and maintaining focus for an extended period of time, I'll still also just give her that treat or reward. Good girl. Some pups too, especially if I had like a ball or a tug toy, that could be useful as well. Oh, almost. Thought she was gonna go back the wrong way for a second there, and I get a chance to see if she gets distracted again. Good girl, good heel. And then recalling back into like that heel touch target really helps sometimes too. Good girl, she thought about it. Almost. Oh. Good girl. Good girl. So we'll go ahead and continue practicing a little bit more, but she's been doing great. After a while of the tonal training, we'll also add in maybe the vibration too, just to give her another physical sensation. Because she's doing so well and generally don't need the static. And I also find the more time that you put towards conditioning these earlier behaviors of her just kind of following you with focus, or following you and redirecting when she hears a tone or when she feels a vibration. The most dogs don't actually need the static. It just depends on the pup also, because I've had definitely pups before that just completely ignore the tone, or the vibration just isn't enough of a physical sensation for them. Every pup is going to be different, but it's always good to start with the least amount of things that you need, and then kind of go from there. Good girl. Oh, good job. Perfect. Good girl. Yes. And sit. Good girl.